What's up, Nerfers? My name is Jay, and welcome to another episode of Monday Mod Talk. This week I'm going to be talking about a long-standing question within the NIC, and that question is Strongarm versus Hammershot. Which one's better? Okay, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to go through the pros and cons of each blaster, and then I'm going to give my opinion. Now, I want to state this again, for the record, this is my opinion. You're allowed to have a difference of opinion. Don't get all butthurt because my opinion's different than yours. So to kick things off, I'm going to start with the Hammershot, and we're going to go with the pros first. So pro number one, the first pro I came up with is the fact that the Hammershot is small. It's smaller than the Strongarm. I have a nice 3D printed holster for it that fits on a molly pad, drop leg molly pad that I have, and that's always on me. It's not heavy, it's nice and compact, and it's easy to use and fire. Pro number two, and this is a big one, the fact that it's one-handed. So all the operations, priming and firing, it's all single-handed, so you can dual wield them. So that's a huge, huge pro. The fact that you can use two of these blasters at once, is a big deal. Pro number three, it's capacity. What I mean by that is once modified, like you get an orange ModWorks kit for it or a 3D printed barrel for it, you're getting higher capacity because you start with 5 shots stock, but I've seen barrels, 3D printed barrels that get up to like 8 shots, which is ridiculous for a Hammershot. It's amazing how many darts they can actually cram into those things. So capacity is a huge plus. 8 shots beats 6 any day. Next pro, on that same note, the fact that there's so many options, the fact that there's so many upgrade kits and upgradable parts available for the Hammershot is a huge, huge bonus. You have a lot of options to choose from, and you can customize it any way you want, really. Final pro for the Hammershot that I've come up with is consistency. And what I mean by that is that every time you prime and pull the trigger, it's going to fire a dart. I'm going to get into my reasons with the Strongarm, with why that's an issue, consistency. But every time you fire the Hammershot, it's going to shoot a dart. Now for the cons for the Hammershot. Con number one, range. I've noticed, and this is just my finding, ranges are not so great. Mostly because the barrel, especially if you modify it, the barrel tends to eat away at the foam padding on the edge of the plunger tube, and that breaks the seal. So breaking the seal is bad. Con number two, accuracy. It's not as accurate, at least from what I've found. That's just my personal findings, my personal experiences with it. It's not as accurate as the Strongarm. Con number three, the prime is really uncomfortable, especially if you upgrade the spring power. It's much harder on your thumb and your hand muscles. You're going to get fatigued more easily. So that's a huge con, especially with the blaster parts kit, that metal kit for the Hammershot. The hammer that they designed is really kind of weird shaped in my opinion, and kind of counterintuitive. I guess it's designed for like fanning the hammer, I guess, which I would never do anyways, but it's kind of like hooked upward, and my hands aren't that big and my thumbs are not that long, so it's really difficult for me to prime that kit specifically. And the last con is capacity. Stock, it's only got 5 shots. It's got 1 less than the Strongarm, which puts it at a disadvantage from the get-go. Now onto the Strongarm. I'm going to start with the pros. Pro number one, power. I'm going to say this right off the bat, that power between the Strongarm and the Hammershot, Strongarm wins out because it's got a bigger plunger tube. It's got more air. It's pushing more air from the plunger tube to the barrel. So you can throw in stronger springs too. You're just working with more air, so you're going to have more power. Pro number two, accuracy. And this is subjective. This is something that I've found from my experience, that the Strongarm is more accurate than the Hammershot. Pro number three, it's more comfortable to hold, it's more comfortable to prime and to fire, it's more comfortable to use than the Hammershot. And final pro that I came up with is that it comes with 6 shots right out of the box. Stock performance, it holds 1 more dart than the Hammershot. On to the cons. Con number one for the Strongarm. Con number one is that it's inconsistent. And what I mean by that is when you prime and pull the trigger of the Strongarm, you're not always going to get a dart firing. You're going to get a dart going, it's going to poop darts sometimes. And I don't know why that is specifically. I think it has something to do with the plunger tube having to move forward as you fire it, because if you notice, the plunger tube actually shoots forward a little bit and actually makes a solid connection with that rotating barrel. So I think that could be the issue, but either way, it's not as reliable. It's inconsistent, and you need that reliability sometimes. You need to know that a dart's going to come out of that barrel every time. Con number 2 is the lack of upgrades. I mean, there's the Orange ModWorks kit, and I think that's it. If there's more, let me know, because I don't know about it. Either way, it's just there's not nearly as much customization options out there for the Strongarm. Con number 3 is that it's bulky. Because it's bigger than the Hammershot, it's bulkier than the Hammershot. Makes sense, right? It's kind of logical. And finally, con number 4 is that it requires 2 hands to operate. You know, you need to be holding the blaster with one hand, and then you gotta prime it with the other. Yeah, you can argue that you can use 2 Strongarms at once, but like, let's be honest, there's nothing convenient about trying to prime them together at the same time. You could hook a bandolier up to them and like do the whole that thing, but honestly, I don't think that's very useful or economical. So which one wins? In my opinion, I'm going to pick the Hammershot. And the reason is because it's more consistent. Yeah, it might have less power or less range, but it's going to fire a dart every time. I've got the Orange ModWorks kit in mind, so it's got 6 dart capacity. It's got the same number of darts as the Strongarm, so you've got Strongarm. You've got better than Strongarm performance, I'd say, because it's actually going to fire a dart every time in a smaller than Strongarm package. So it's a win-win. And honestly, like, I'm going to be completely honest here, I use both every time I nerf. I have a Hammershot on my left leg and a Strongarm on my right leg. So I've always got both options there. But when I'm in a pinch, I normally grab the Strongarm, mostly because I'm usually holding my Elite Alpha Trooper, and, you know, if one hand's going to be free, it's going to be my left hand. So, you know, I'm going for my Hammershot almost every time. When I'm really in a bind, I'll go for the Strongarm, but the Strongarm's really kind of a last resort for me. I'd much rather go for the Hammershot because I know it's going to fire a dart every time. And usually, when you're going for pistols anyway, the people are in pretty close. So, like, you're not aiming for targets like 50 feet away. Like, they're gonna be in close quarters. You're not going for pot shots with a Hammershot. Like, no one's doing that. In my opinion, the Hammershot beats the Strongarm because it's more versatile. You've got more options for customizing it. You've got up to 8 shots in a smaller than Strongarm package. So that's like a huge bonus right there. Like, there's so many more options for customizing and ramping up the power on your Hammershot. So it wins the day, in my opinion. So as always, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, please subscribe if you haven't already, so I can continue to make new content for you guys. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. I want to know how you guys feel, whether you're Team Strongarm or Team Hammershot. So yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm trying to get my Instagram page to 500 followers, and I'm thinking, like, once I hit 500 followers, I'm gonna do an Instagram specific giveaway contest. I'm not sure about that yet. Haven't worked out the details yet, but so as always, feel free to check that out. Check out my Facebook page. My Instagram is @jnerfofficial. My Facebook page is facebook.com/jnerf176. I will put links in the description below. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you later.